Hi everybody, so I am Megha this side, the founder of Arhua, and today we have another remarkable guest with us. Before starting, I would like to point over this that in our country, especially able children are 3.4 times likely to be sexually abused than other children. Yes, and the statistics is huge of sexual abuse. Today we have a remarkable guest who will be talking about this issue. Her name is Champa Singh Gupta. I'm just going to bring her live on this session. She is a disability and gender right activist. I'm going to bring her live and then introduce her. So just a minute, everybody. And you can also post your questions related to this in the comment section below. So she is a disability and gender right activist, founder of Shruti Disability Rights Center, joint secretary at NPRD. And it's our honor to have her today. Hello, ma'am.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
You're fine. Thank you, ma'am,
Yeah.
for joining us. It's our honor to have you today with us.
This is my first Instagram live, so I was keeping nervous about the technical aspect. Yes.
Yes. No, but it's good. I think the network is also good.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. So we'll
Yes.
start. I have already introduced you, and first of all, you're doing great work in respect to especially able children. And I've been reading about your work a lot. I want to start by knowing that what's your story and what actually motivated you to work for this cause?
It's not an easy answer, because I really do not have. Most of the disability activists or NGO workers actually come from a background where either someone in the family who's having some kind of disability or not. Yeah. But I really do not have any such story to
Same.
share. But I have a experience of like my. The woman who took care of me, the caretaker, because my mother was a working lady. Working means going out of home and working, which was rare in those days. Which was rare in those days, yeah. So she was working and she actually kept a caretaker for me, which is usually termed as Aya in a casual term. Yeah, and she was partially hearing impaired. So maybe that had a big influence on me. And yeah, so my experience of becoming a caregiver came much later. So I started working much before someone in my family was affected by disability. Yeah.
So, ma'am, you have been campaigning a lot about rights of the specially able people. I want to know, have you faced any challenge from the government side or just generally when you are campaigning and advocating for their rights? What is the main challenge that you face? I know there are a lot of challenges, but
there are many challenges. I think the main issue is still now in our country and in other countries also. The disability issue is taken as a charity issue. So it's like an NGO. So there is a temple trust. They will give some help to a person who needs, say, maybe buy some wheelchair, give some food, things like that. And some institutions also start their own educational facilities, which are good. I'm not saying that shouldn't be done. But once you are in a charity mode, what happens is the whole accountability of state is not there. Yeah, so it's not, and I work for the rights. So I want that there should be a right. I mean, like for any of us, because see, when my daughter was born, let me give me an example. She was not born with a disability. So I didn't have to start a new school so that she can get education, right? But in our country, if you see, there are so many mothers who actually started new schools because their child is disabled. So why is it this happening? Because there is no special school run by government. So the parents need to take up the responsibility. And I don't think that should happen. It should be right. Yeah. So Of course, if there are more NGOs taking up the responsibility, then I think the government also think it's better for them because they can wash their hands off.
Yes.
And
So,
that's my experience. Yes.
yes, I would like to give an example. Like I've done my masters from London. So in London,
Yes.
the culture was like they used to have special buses, and
Yes.
it used to not be like okay they're doing something extra, but it's like they are humans. Everybody is equal, and it's not which like there's something they are providing them with something extra, and it was part
Mm.
of every place. Like student, even schools used to have proper schools were inclusive, buses were inclusive, but India mein it's not there yet. We have a
That is
question
something
here.
we need to fight for. That is something. It's not something. I mean, for any rights actually, if you see as women also, if you see whatever we have received till now, whatever like gained, we actually fought for it. It's not that
Yes,
everything is given in a
easily
platter.
available.
That's something. Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yes.
ma'am, is there any mechanisms available for specially able children in terms of preventing sexual violence against them? Preventive mechanisms.
Uh, I think we can come to POXO a little later because POXO is a law that talks about
Yes.
disabled children also. So, which is good. I'm sorry, I'm using the term disability from the beginning because that is the term we prefer to use, and that is
Okay.
also legally used term. See, from the United Nations to Indian laws, everywhere
Okay.
there is like. For a current law of India is Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act. The UN Convention is called UNCRPD, UN Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So, preventive mechanism, I think, I mean, how to say it? It's in, we don't teach basic sexuality issues to any child.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't have to have a disability component in it. We just don't teach, and I mean that
Exactly.
is something. See, for us as grown-up women, also we have realized that we learned much later. Actually,
Yes.
yes. Like in a very in a childhood, we didn't know how to like say no even if someone wants to touch you or someone wants to.
Exactly.
These are the issues. And then for someone who's having a disability, even to process it. I mean, firstly, they don't have that information or the knowledge that I can say no also, and then disability is not one like one kind of issue. It's like there are different kinds of. So suppose a child with visual impairment. So that child's everything, all the education, everything depends on touch. They learn from by touching. So for
Yes.
them to learn what is good touch and bad touch, it will give a totally different kind of dimension. So we need to teach that to the child. That when to say no, how to say
Yes.
no. Yeah,
Yes.
a child with hearing impairment. So how will she or he even express that I'm not liking this? Because
Exactly.
we don't teach, say, like even if the child is going to a school, even if he or she is having some kind of knowledge of sign language, I mean, sign language is not understood by majority of
Everybody.
us. Yeah, and so
Exactly.
and there are different kinds of issues. So it's not like, I mean, I cannot say like unilaterally this is a preventive measure. I mean, you need to think of definitely for me. Sexuality education is something very important. That should be one of the priority, and that is definitely there. So, and then those sometimes even to teach that is so difficult when a child has intellectual disabilities.
Yes.
So if your understanding is little lower than someone who's actually of your age group. So sometimes the child may not even understand that this what is happening is abuse. So you need to understand that this is abuse, and then you can complain.
Exactly.
I mean, so, and that's something also a big concern for all of us who are working in intersection of gender disability. Yes.
I was also observing, since we are making a lot of video content on child sexual abuse prevention, I was observing that there are not much video content available in different sign languages for specially able children, so that they can understand maybe through sign language. But then also there are problems, because there are different regional sign languages, and there is a national. It's not recognized yet. Like there's one national language, so lot of difficulties.
Yes. But even then, see, I mean, I can say that I see more videos on, say, child sexual abuse in English than in any regional language. Yes. So you cannot say that I'll not do it at all. For me, it's important that we should do it in all languages. Yes. I mean, we just cannot leave anyone behind. I mean, that is something I believe, that you just cannot say, okay, because say very few will be understanding Indian Sign Language, the national one. I mean, we just can't do it. I mean, you cannot
I think it should be like an opportunity for us to work in this field.
Yes. There is a large requirement of people who are working in not so-called like disability groups to come and work together. That kind of networking is very important.
Important. Ma'am, one more thing, like when we report, like generally when we go to schools, we tell them that you can report the case with Child Helpline. But I was just imagining a few days ago, if a child is disabled or the child is not able to like speak, so where can they report these matters? Like, do we have a special helpline, like a video helpline where children can show it through sign language, or we don't have it yet? Or like only like what's the way?
It's Childline. I don't think it's a Childline. They say they get cases of disabled children, but I don't think they maintain separate data of disabled children. I mean, so that is one of the concern. And but it's also like someone else in Childline. See, even I can complain. No, like anyone can complain on behalf of someone. It's I don't think that there will be a lot of disabled children themselves complaining. I mean, those data needs to be actually analyzed so that we can understand what is the problem. If we do not have a data, if we do not have the information, then it's very difficult to find the solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even I was reading that even NCRB, National Crime Record Bureau, has not maintained any separate data when it comes to women getting sexually abused.
Yes. That is one of our demands of our network. I work with National Platform for Rights of Disabled, and that is one of the major demands for us is at least give us the statistics, because if you don't have the statistics, it's very easy. See, every time we talk about this case happened, that case happened, it becomes like it's anecdotal things, no? We don't have like statistics like this many people. So it's very difficult. And then if you want to make a policy level change, then it's very important that we have a proper statistics. That's something very important. Yeah.
Data in hand. So, ma'am, when the POCSO Act was launched, it had specific sections related to specially able children or disabled, related to disability. But when it comes to implementation, like, have you faced any any case that you can share it with us where the implementation aspect of it was failing? Maybe because police officers are not trained, or maybe medical officers are not trained. Any real life case that you would like to share?
There are many cases because I follow up so many cases, and I've seen like Megha, there are like many cases that are happening. Firstly, the training of police officers doesn't happen in a regular basis, so they don't know how of the new techniques. For example, in a case in Hooghly district of West Bengal, where we went and see. The family members were quite happy with what the police were doing. They also were not aware of what the laws are.
Yes.
So and this child had cerebral palsy and she was gang raped, and small child, and so the police came to her house, visited her. This are not supposed to be done. I'm sorry. They called her to the police station and took her statement. This is not like as per POCSO. This shouldn't be done.
Exactly.
Also, they have to record. Yeah, they have to record the child's testimony. As you know, that POCSO says that you have to record because the child shouldn't be talking about it many times. So you have to videograph the whole statement. And so when we asked the police officer, they also told us that we don't even have equipments to
record it. Video record it.
Yeah. So video record it. So in the villages, like those kind of infrastructure is also not there. And it's very scary because you cannot blame totally on individual police officer. It's the whole infrastructure is not there. In one particular case I'll talk about, because this happened in Delhi, and because that's a capital city and not a remote village. That in that case, when we intervened, we came to know from the media, and we went there and visited the police station, and the police officer, the lady, she was very nice. I mean, she was very nice. She said, yes, I called the sign language expert and this thing because the child is not speaking. So we thought, acha hai, you know, it's like she. And I actually met the child once, and I realized that a child doesn't need a sign language expert. She's just speaking because she's intellectually disabled. So she's unable to understand, you know.
Yes.
But the police, this lady officer, she was not trained to know that this is a
intellectual
issue. Yeah, what is the difference between intellectual and I actually saw her the child once, and I realized this is what she's doing is not right. But how to handle this, because disability issue itself is so vast and so few of us actually know of it. We have any information, knowledge of it. This is a big concern area. So like disability should be curriculum everywhere, not just police or judiciary or you know. But
even I feel school days, like from the starting, it should be part of the school curriculum also.
Yes, that is what, in fact, our current law, the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, talks about it, that disability issue should be included in school curriculum. So, until unless people know of it, I think a lot of information is just not there with people. It's not that always I'll blame individuals. People just don't know. I mean, and that information, and that is something like we should advocate for. Yes, yeah, that's how as much as information. So that's why, like, whenever someone tells me to do, and whichever platform, because it's like the more you talk about it, and more, and so you have to go to the ground level also, because I work more with ground level people. But whenever someone tells me to do something in internet, I said, I mean, because it's very important you talk about it.
Exactly.
Because we don't talk about it, it remains hidden. So,
So, ma'am, we have a lot of youth in our profile, and they are from different states, at least from 11 plus states. Any suggestion what role youth can play in actually spreading these messages? Because we would love to spread messages about this to more and more people, more and more states. So, what role they can play in spreading the message?
See, for me, I mean, of course, because we are going through the pandemic period also, we are more into internet.
Yes.
And yeah, so nowadays I cannot tell also to go to the computer class.
Yes.
Hope the situation improves soon, but
Yes.
for right now, what we can say is you try to whoever you are, wherever you are. You can start even by, I think there are some basic things that can be done, like even if see our social media platforms.
Yes.
Yeah, and you try to see how much you can include disability issue. I'm not saying just
Hmm.
talking about like in a general, like putting up a photo and all that. So you can try to
Hmm.
engage in different kinds of uh,
Hmm.
areas around disability issues.
Hmm.
CSA is one form, violence on women or on disabled women is one form, and
Hmm.
inclusive education. You can, and of course, in colleges, I think all of you have faced and things which are like you also start questioning where I can bring inclusion. So
Hmm.
whether it's either, and for me, I think every work should begin with self introspection. Wherever,
Hmm.
whatever I'm doing, so if I'm putting out a photo in like Twitter have an option that a photo can be read. So
Yes.
have you enabled that? Yeah. So are you enabling that? So when I'm going to college, I'm trying to enable like the situation to make the inclusive. And I
Hmm.
think the power is immense power in all
Exactly.
of us.
Yes.
Because if, yeah, even if it's like 10 people try to change, and it's also like it
It,
becomes trendy, like
hmm.
you can also tell your friends that you can do that. So that's
Yes.
important.
So it's like a chain. One person can challenge three friends, and the three friends can challenge other friends, and it will spread. So,
Yeah, I will start a challenge. Like we have the
yes,
sari challenge and whatever challenge and Facebook thing,
yes.
because you can start like
Hmm.
uh, kind of disability issues you can bring in like in
Hmm.
your everyday like interaction. So
Yes, that's a very
yes.
nice point. And in fact, it's maybe the little step that we start doing it, like posting a picture, so including that it's the pictures that we're posting is inclusive. So it's a very valid point. Ma'am, we have a question here. It is by Hope. He's from Thiruvananthapuram. He's saying
Yes.
that is your work efforts and impact across India or localized?
No, actually, I'm part of the National Platform for Rights of Disabled. We have membership across quite a few states in India. So and my work more is more policy level change and legal changes, and
Yes.
the legal changes happen at national level. So
Hmm.
most of the work that I've done is actually through advocacy at
National level.
national level. Yeah, yeah.
So, ma'am, we
So
have Life Matters Globally. She is from USA. She runs her organization against trafficking. She's saying that we teach and encourage self-reflection and self-love. There's another message. Neha is asking that, ma'am, how do you think schools can be more disability inclusive in terms of student admission and inclusivity in classroom?
this is a big challenge for all of us because we think it's very important to start inclusive education, because segregation from the beginning, actually this whole segregation issue is because why we are talking about we don't know about disability. Why do we don't know? Because we had been
Yes.
segregated from the beginning.
Yes.
So very few of us actually seen a disabled child in classmate in our classrooms. So we never
Yes.
thought that is that also exists. It's something we have learned when we grew up. So and the schools have a very important role to play. Again, there are very specific literature on how we can become inclusive. Uh, our current laws, because I work on laws and policies, I'm talking more about it.
Hmm.
Be it the Right to Education Act, be it Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act,
Hmm.
everywhere inclusive education is focused on.
Yes.
but when it comes to implementation, we
Fail.
sort of forget it. Yeah. So
Hmm.
I think it focus that we should maintain law and order also. That is important. I don't know why we should be talking only about legal issues when
Hmm.
there's a sexual abuse happens. What about the
Yes,
schools not following the norm? Can we write a
exactly.
letter to the school and inclusive education? There are quite a lot of literature on it. How to include different kinds of disability in one classroom,
Hmm.
and I mean it's a vast topic. I mean you cannot use
Completed,
our
yeah.
life
Exactly.
this thing.
So,
Yeah. So, but
if
I think the first point is you have to open-hearted. The
yes,
beginning starts from
from
there,
you,
and then
yeah.
yes,
As
yeah,
गांधी जी ने एक statement बोली है कि the change starts from you. So it's important that you start doing it. So, ma'am, there's
yeah.
another question by she. She's saying that, ma'am, I'm trying to create a policy document on the impact of the pandemic on informal workers. How can I include disability as a part of this? Can you suggest me readings? She's from West Bengal. Maybe she can connect with you.
Yeah, if she can send me a mail, I think then I can send. I mean, actually, we had been trying to collate uh, newspaper articles on how pandemic is affecting persons with disabilities. So I have like more than 50 articles right now, and some
Oh.
of them are on workers. And we
Hmm.
need to understand that majority of the disabled people in India are actually working in unorganized sector.
Okay.
So we can say so naturally they are affected much more. They are
Hmm.
not in organized sector, so we can
Hmm.
send you the articles. I mean,
Hmm.
so yeah.
Yes, so you can connect with ma'am on ma'am's Instagram handle. We'll be sharing it with you after the Instagram live session. Ma'am, Life Matters Global is mentioning, they are from USA, they are mentioning that we can support the challenge. So that's amazing. So the challenge that
Yeah.
we were talking about, so we can probably have a word with them also. Hi Vibhuti, hi Kalra. So ma'am, my next question to you is, there are times where we actually get touched by certain instances, or sometimes when we achieve something in our journey. So you have been campaigning and advocating from a very long period of time. So what is that one achievement that happened when you were like, yes, it's done finally? This
Yeah, when you work for very long, then I think of many kinds of like achievement. But for me, I think it's very important because when I started working on intersection of gender and disability, uh, there were hardly anyone working on it. I'm sorry to say I am not the person to say I'm the first one to do it, but there were like very few people who were writing on women on disability and violence. I've been
Hmm.
following up cases of violence on disabled women from the year 2000, so that long,
Wow.
and yeah, so the actually for us, for me particularly, uh, the thing that happened is when Nirbhaya case happened in 2012.
Yes.
So December, and after that the Verma committee was formed to
Yes.
change the rape laws,
Hmm.
and we wrote to the Verma committee that we want disabled women's issue should be included in the rape laws, and
Yes.
they said that we have got very few response from disability groups. We don't have any case studies. We don't understand the issue. That's what they said, because we need more information on it.
Hmm.
And at that time, I actually sat. I can tell you that I was sitting like all night writing down all the case studies and sending
Hmm.
details every day. Then I was suddenly called to uh, Delhi to do a face-to-face meeting with them. In
Hmm.
fact, ours is the only group that got three times chance to meet three times the Verma committee. And
Wow.
finally, when the Verma committee gave the suggestions, quite a few of them were included in the Criminal Law Amendment Act that came in
Amendments.
2013. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
That's great.
that sort of, you feel like you waited for this day for 12 years to see that this is happening, and
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's sort of the first time I think generic women's law included disability issue, the criminal law. I mean, POXO came before, but POXO is something which is more for
Specific children.
children.
Yes.
Yeah, this is for like grown-up women or
Adults.
like, yeah, adults, and so it sort of felt like we
It's
have
um,
reached,
I
yeah,
yeah, it's
yes.
amazing because you have brought a change which is actually going to help the future generation ages. Like it's not like a short term change, but it's like a very long term, huge.
No, yeah, there is no short term. I can tell you, you
Yes.
need work for years and years. And but I think what I didn't do, I mean, I can tell you one point also because we also were not very good in documentation. We've been following up cases and like so a lot of case studies were not written, and I actually had to sit and write. I had to recall what was happening in the court, police station, things like that, and that sort of helped. But at least in these days, since we have more
Internet.
options, most of us have internet and own laptops, a device, or like Google Drive. You can,
Put the
of course,
data
those
there.
days we didn't have so much of like
Hmm.
facilities. So I think it's very important to document your experience also if you really want to bring the changes.
Hmm. But I actually salute your efforts for everything that you've been doing. It's wonderful. Like I can actually understand the people who go through sexual violence and who are specially able. It's absolutely a big thing for them and for us also. So hats off to you first of all. We have a message here, ma'am. Again from the organization in USA. She's saying that I think we should normalize a form of a group therapy or one-on-one therapy on school campus, also to teach compassion and empathy towards others to help accept inclusivity.
And inclusivity in all forms. I mean, that is
Yes.
something very important, like not just disability, but also to include children from
Every,
other religions, other color, everything. I mean, that is
yes.
something, it's a call of the day. Yeah,
Yes. To promote equality. So, ma'am, any
yes.
last message that you would like to give it to like all the audience?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I really don't know what should be a last message, but for me, it's always we should self introspection is important, and we need to think whether we are leaving someone behind, and try to include. That is something the first thing we should do,
Hmm.
and that is like that should be motto for all of us, because
Hmm.
see, hard work is something I think all of us try to do, but it's
Yes.
important to also introspect whether we are leaving someone behind. When I'm talking about disability, child rights, whichever, like, and because everything is intersectional, and we have to, if we need to change, we have to change it in a larger format, not just in
Hmm.
a small way.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us for this session. It's an honor to have you, and thank you so much for your insights. And thank you for taking out time for today.
So yeah, I mean, thank you for like including the issue here in your platform, and I really hope that you'll try to work more on it, maybe
Yes.
in a more inclusive manner. Also, your organization also. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Take care. So, guys, this was ma'am, and it was absolutely great to have her for this live session. And in fact, there were a lot of things which even I wasn't aware about, and it's so important in today's scenario that we create a society which is inclusive, and we talk about specially able children, and we build platforms which are inclusive. Um, so, to all of you, just let's ensure that. Home is a safe place for all the children. And today I'll be signing off. You can volunteer with our organization. And if you want to volunteer, or you can drop us a message. And I'll be signing off right now. Take care. Have a good day. And hashtag safe home for child.